Hello everyone, this is Believer and welcome to the Rock of Ages playthrough. Do you like myths? Do you like history? Do you like tower defense games? What about Monty Python? If you answered yes, 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 and absolutely yes, then this is the game made for you. Definitely a more casual game than others, but it still has enough complexity to be interesting and worth playing. Just because I say it's a casual game, it doesn't mean that it's unsuited for anyone. Casual is just something hardcore gamers tend to underestimate. Tetris is a casual game, and it's probably the best game ever made. Alas, this isn't about blocks, but rocks. And if you wanted rock music, you'll have to play Brutal Legend for that. Sorry. So okay, we start out in Hades, where we get introduced to our protagonist, Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a king of Corinth or something, but because of his deceit with the gods, he was condemned to forever roll a boulder up a mountain in Tartarus, the worst place in Hades. And whenever he was about to reach the top, the boulder would roll down again. Also including in this cinematic, we find Titius getting his liver eaten by vultures every day, and Tantalus, who can never reach the apples above or the water below him. Fun fact, the word tantalize derives from that very poor soul there. We also find Ixion forever spinning on a fiery wheel. So as you can see, basically Sisyphus has had enough of all this shit. And he's gonna use the boulder to escape Hades instead. Oh, by the way, maybe you can tell there's already something odd about this overlord of the underworld. Yeah, he doesn't belong here. Kronos is a titan, one of the bad guys, locked away in Tartarus. He's the god of time, which explains why we have words like chronological today. But anyway, the actual ruler of Hades is, well, Hades. It's sort of like Hel from Norse mythology. She rules the underworld there, and yes, the very word Hel derives from Loki's own daughter. Take that, Christianity. Alright, so as you can probably tell by now, the objective of the game is to roll your boulder down the mountain and crash the enemy's gate. Along the way down, you can destroy buildings and obstacles to get extra money. The money can be spent on defenses while you wait for your next boulder to be made. So basically you start out on offense, and when you've attacked the enemy's gate, you go into defensive mode until you're ready to attack again. The faster you can crash into the gate, the more damage it will take, and how intact the boulder is also plays a role in effective damage. So when you are on offense, you have to take into consideration, do I go straight for the gate for maximum damage, or do I destroy some of the enemy's stuff to get more money to defend myself with? The obstacles you can purchase are separated into categories. You got your standard stationary towers. You got the animals that serve as mobile towers, sort of, and then you got catapults. That's all, for now at least. I am generally a fan of the offensive weapons, since they can do way more damage to the enemy boulder, although not as capable in blocking and reducing its speed. But they usually seem to do enough damage to reduce the enemy's boulder to much less of a threat. And huzzah! We have escaped Hades, gloriously accompanied by Dyrus Era, the Day of Wrath, which dates so far back that it's not even certain who wrote it. But one thing is for sure, it's a pretty damn epic piece of music. So apparently we're in Sparta now, and we're going to fight Agamemnon, the commander-in-chief for the Greeks participating in the legendary Trojan War. Yeah, he's not too happy to have his Trojan horse destroyed. At first I was a little confused as to why we are in Sparta. The Spartans haven't been mentioned a whole lot in the Trojan War after all. But it turns out that he took refuge in Sparta with his brother for some reason, and there they both met their future wives. His sister-in-law turns out to be Helen, the trophy wife to rule them all. The very reason the Greek went to war with the Trojans. According to the myth, the Greek gods took great interest in the Trojan War, some of them favoring the Greek, while others favored the Trojan people. Many people on both sides of the conflict angered some of the gods with their different actions, and supposedly the gods responded by cursing them or downright killing them. Take for instance Cassandra, who had been given the ability to see into the future, but because of her offense against another god, she was cursed to forever be considered a lunatic for her predictions. So in the end, she knew her homeworld would fall, and nobody would believe her. Greek myth is kinda like that. There's just no happy ending. So okay, to wrap up the whole Trojan War thing, the Greek won the battle in the end, and Agamemnon could return victorious to his home. Too bad his wife had been cheating on him, and he was then murdered by either his wife, his wife's lover, or even both. Yeah, bad luck is apparently something that runs in the family in this golden age. Because Agamemnon was related to Tantalus. You remember him, right? The guy with all his needs out of reach? Yeah, that guy. I cannot believe I haven't mentioned this yet, but take a look at the art style for this time period. I absolutely love how people are portrayed, just like they were back when they were being portrayed for the first time. This one here is what we call black figure pottery. Pretty cool stuff considering how ancient it all is. Okay, so I must admit I can keep babbling on and on and on about all this Greek nerdy stuff, and you probably knew half of what I just said, but I just can't help it. Greek myth is more or less the birthplace of great stories, and they need to be known by all, if you ask me. Think about how much we love the superheroes of today. Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and other superheroes who don't have a man suffix. Well, a lot of original superheroes were born in the Odyssey and other ancient tales. Hopefully you can hear that the music is going faster now, just to make the situation feel more urgent. It is a pretty good indication that you only need one more hit to break the gate. So now I figured there's no point in building additional defenses, and rather just buy an upgraded boulder. This upgrade is a defensive one, protecting the boulder from a certain amount of damage. That way I can feel reassured that my boulder will do maximum damage when it reaches the gate, since it won't be taking any damage itself. It turns out that it wasn't necessary though. The only thing I seem to hit is people on the way down. They give points as well, but don't damage you, so why not just run them down? I love their small city screams. It's a nice contrast to Carmageddon. So, Agamemnon has been squashed like a bug, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. That's all for part 1, see you in part 2, where we meet one of the most efficient armies in human history. Bye bye for now.